March 12th, 2018. May I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Mormon? Here. Dr. Nemekis?
Here.
Ms. Davis?
Here.
Mr. Markison?
Here.
Dr. Elliott?
Here.
Mrs. Kreiling?
Here.
Mr. Lane?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I'll try and be relatively brief in my comments. We got a lot to cover tonight. So, we're so much more aware of everything now than we used to be. And it's easy to be overwhelmed by the extent and depth of our challenges. I'm talking about worldwide challenges, cultural, political, economic, and environmental. I admit some days even I'm overwhelmed, but not most days. I'm hopeful because of what I see from our youth. The high school, college, and post-college age millennials and Gen Zs that the media like to poke fun at. My daughter's friends and classmates that I used to drive around in a carpool are now authors, teachers, video producers, attending medical school and grad school, working in startups and large corporations, in tech and on Wall Street, making a difference. My generation has handed the next generation a load, and I'm sorry, but hopeful. More broadly, I'm proud of how America's and Lake Forest's youth are making sure their voices are heard. The positive of our kids being used to getting their way is when they want to change something, they don't quit until things change. They don't wait on the sidelines, they get in the game. Yes, they want to get their way, and that's a great thing. To quote Trevor Noah from The Daily Show, kids from communities like ours want to see the manager. Certain things aren't acceptable, and they want to talk to someone in charge and change things. They don't accept non-action. So, to our scouts, stay strong, be patient but focused, and don't quit. So, thank you. Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Markison. I'll hand off to Dr. Holland to begin.
And we are joined by Drew today. Tricia could not be here.
So updates from around the high school. The talent show happened at the end of February. It was a great run, very successful. All the acts were great, almost sold out on all the days. The past 2 weeks, we also had the ELS basketball game, one of our favorite traditions at the high school for the enriched learning, educational life skills class. They played a school from Glenview, right? They played New Trier, and the gym is packed for all afternoon, and everyone's just really excited to support the school. For spring sports, a lot of tryouts are happening right now, and some seasons have even begun. That's where Tricia is right now. She has a badminton match. Choir, band, and orchestra have a concert this week. Choir is headed off to Italy for spring break. They'll be performing all across there, and including one in the Vatican. It's really cool. TEDx LFHS is also happening this week. On the student council side of things, the juniors are moving right along with prom planning. Things are going right on schedule for them. And a big project we have coming up, we're partnering with the school in Vietnam to, we're going to have a drive to donate lots of things, not just school supplies, but also just, like life things to make sure like the students are as well. In addition to learning, there's like eating well and having like all the basic necessities to be focused in the classroom as well. Yeah.
I only have a few updates. There have been many questions regarding safety and security at the high school, and we have a board presentation tonight on safety and security, but we are constantly examining ways to ensure that our practices are current and considerate of the evolving landscape of best school safety and security practices. A few years ago, we engaged in a significant construction project at the school for this reason, moving our safety office to the front of the building from out of the basement. We've also adopted protocols and procedures for checking in and out of the building and knowing where students are at all times. And so we're currently making some necessary changes to our procedures for drills, and we're engaging in a comprehensive safety assessment across our entire district, which will inform us of areas that will require more immediate attention as well as some long-term planning. Just a reminder, our campus is closed on Wednesday between 9:15 and 10:45. All of our families should have received a communication from Mike and myself just regarding our plan for the 14th, which is Wednesday. And if anyone has additional questions or concerns about the day and any questions, please feel free to contact my office. As Drew mentioned, on Thursday, we have our TEDx event. We have a lineup of students and staff prepared to present, and the event will also include students who are performing. And so the event begins at 10:25 in the morning and goes till 1:50 p.m., and it's live streamed. So if anyone's interested in watching our TEDx event, there will be a link on our website for everyone to watch. Thank you.
All right, I'd like to ask Katie Arch and Allie Wickman and Lindley Wiesner to come on up to the microphone, if you wouldn't mind. And really appreciate them being here and wanted to recognize them and ask them a few questions about some exciting things that are happening in their life. So there are 7 students that have had their artwork voted into the Illinois High School Art Exhibition. It's like a state meet for artists. And that's Katie Arch for drawing, Ren Volkert for graphic design, couldn't be here tonight, Marie Spellman for photography, and Tara Bruner and Keegan Thornen for time arts and animation. They couldn't be here either, unfortunately, but Allie Wickman for painting and Lindley Wiesner for mixed media are able to be here. And their work is on display now through March 11th at the Zao B Art Center on West 35th Street in Chicago. In addition, at the show's awards ceremony last Sunday, 3 of the artists won an award. They are Katie Arch for a bronze award for drawing, Allie Wickman, who won a 1-week intensive summer course at American Academy of Art, and Lindley Wiesner won a 1-week intensive summer course at the University of Illinois. And so please join me in congratulating them on their accomplishments. So each of you, tell us about your piece and why this is a significant piece for you.
I painted the watercoloring paint, and this was the first time I did watercolor, and I really like painting and drawing, and this is my first painting class, and I really enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun painting this one, and this is the first piece I've gotten into an art show, so it was really cool that I won an award from an art school, and yeah, it was just really fun making it, and I really enjoyed it.
Maybe you should have stopped now and never paint another thing, because, I mean, what a way to start.
This is in Hawaii. This is actually a picture that somebody took of my family on spring break. Me and my 2 sisters are actually 3 of the people walking. Yeah, so I painted a picture that somebody else took of us in Hawaii. And we are walking to go zip lining. So, thank you.
So I did the clock on the right-hand side, and the project we did for graphic design was you could use like any materials you wanted, and you to laser cut on the laser cutter machine. So I decided to use a vinyl record. I just thought it was really different. So I kind of made a mandala shape or like design, and then it took a long time to cut it out right and like get everything lined up exactly, and then we put in clock hands, made it into a clock. I don't know if there's batteries in it, but I think it will work if there were, yeah.
So my piece is the colored pencil portrait in the middle. It was just kind of an experiment. I never really worked with black paper before, and so using the colored pencils on top was different and fun. The woman is just a random person, and I edited her eyes on an app, so then I drew directly from the image. I'm not creative. I just like to draw things as well as I can. That's, yeah.
I don't know, I just like to.
So Katie, can I ask a question? Where the geometric blocks are over her eyes, you drew that? That's not,
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're very creative. I draw stick people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and
Beautiful stuff.
congratulations, and thank you very much for coming tonight. This is, for us, the best part of our meeting. This reminds us of why we do the work that we do, and continue the great work. I really appreciate you coming. Thank you. Okay. So there's one other part to the superintendent's report as well, and I wanted to talk about something of the elephant in the room, and there's a planned national school walkout this Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and the reason for that is to celebrate and recognize 17 people that were killed in Florida about 1 month ago. We received from our council a number of recommendations. This was about a week ago. Make sure that you have done these things. And when we got this, one of the things that we were pleased to see was that we had already done each of these things. And so our team had gotten together, Shayla with her team at the high school and in central office, and then other meetings with those two groups. And so we have put together a comprehensive plan. We've communicated that out to parents and students already, and we don't really know what we're going to experience on Wednesday. We have heard that there might be a significant number of students that wish to participate, but we really aren't at liberty to ask students that, very frankly. But I did want to walk through some of the questions that we've received and to clarify some things for the community. So one of the first questions is the degree to which students have a right to free speech. And actually, students have very, very significant free speech rights and First Amendment rights. The most significant case was that of Tinker in 1965. Middle school students wore black armbands to school and were either sent home or were suspended for so doing. That case made it all the way to the Supreme Court, and in probably certainly when it comes to schools, probably the most significant quote for our industry is that students do not shed the constitutional rights to freedom of speech and expression at the schoolhouse gate. And this is something that every single administrator that goes through any program learns about. Are those student rights unlimited? And the answer to that is no, they are not unlimited. There are significant restrictions placed on those relative to the disruption that their speech creates. So isn't the proposed walkout disruptive? And yes, without any question, it has the potential to be very disruptive. In our case, our council has urged us to think about the degree to which a walkout would be disruptive, but also the degree to which trying to regulate speech, as it is known in legal circles, is then potentially more disruptive in this or other cases. And what this really caused us to reflect on is the relationship that our staff enjoy with our students. If there is one thing that we point to that is for us, I would say the most cherished thing that we have is that our kids, and we saw this through our Gallup poll this year, a very brief student poll, our kids have a very strong and trusting relationship with their faculty. And did we want to be utilizing our faculty to try to regulate the student's speech on that particular day about something that we believe many students in our school and schools all around us and across the nation are very, very passionate about? And a decision that we reached was no, we do not want to place our staff in that position. And we believe that this is the prudent course for us, and our council aligns with that. So do our staff have a right to free speech during the walkout? And if they are on school time, if they are at work and on the clock, so to speak, no, they do not have a First Amendment right to political speech while they are working. However, if they are not working, have taken time away that is personal time for them, provided that they're not on school grounds, they do have that right during the workday, but that is limited to the place, and also it's got to be on their time and not the school district's time. In other news, in a completely different direction, we are again recognized as an AP honor roll district for increasing number of students participating in AP, and this is something really significant for us, while at the same time maintaining the same percentage or increasing the percentage of students that are earning a 3 or higher. So in our case, take our math BC calculus. 6 years ago we had 23 students. Last year we had 74. Next year we're going to have 89. The students' performance remains at the exact same level, no matter how many students are in those classes. And that means that they are well prepared when they enter, and then they continue to learn while they're there. But this is an award that really does resonate with us, because we have seen our passing percentage remain roughly the same in the entire time that we've vastly expanded the number of students participating. At our annual Realtor meeting this past week, so once a year, Ann Whipple and I speak with the collective realtors around the region that are selling homes and very interested in how the high school in particular is doing, because people move to the high school or move to the communities for the schools. And they place a tremendous value on that. And so my elevator speech for them, after all the statistics and we do this and we do that and all the other things, comes down to 3 simple things: double and same and half. And what that means is we have double the opportunities for our students. This is known as the opportunity ratio. Our school is half the size of many of the schools that people are comparing our school to. That means that our kids have double the opportunity. And same, we have the same academic, co-curricular, and extracurricular programs that other schools do. 30-plus AP classes is a world-class high school offering. And then we have 30-plus varsity athletic teams. We have A and B teams, which means that as freshmen and sophomore, tons and tons of kids get to participate. And the freshman and sophomore year is absolutely critical, particularly freshman fall semester. It's a huge deal. Well begun is half done, and kids that are invested and involved in that first semester of their high school stay involved all the way through. And then it's half the tax bill. Lake Forest has the second lowest rate in the state and the lowest rate in Lake County. And so if you're wondering what your elevator speech is, I got 3 words for you. You got double, same, and half. Let me tell you about that very briefly. So this is what we offer. And in addition to all this, I would say particular point of pride, again, is the staff and student connection is that first bullet right there. You have twice as likely to be on anything that you're really passionate about compared to other schools. And that is why we send our kids to school, is to connect with adults. Thank you.
Is that the end of your superintendent report, Mike? Okay, are there any members of the public that would like to address the board? Scott, we've got a security report that Shayla mentioned.
Good evening. It's nice to present to you again. As Dr. Holland said, that we've been updating a lot of security stuff lately, and thought we'd go over some of the updates. Most of you've seen the stuff that we've had in the past. We have the visitor management system that Raptor we instituted about 2 years ago. I mean, we deal with about 4,000 visitors a year.
Yeah, just behind.
There you go.
Also, Scott, we're trying to figure out who this guy is standing next to you, because we've never seen this person in a jacket and a tie before. So,
Don't get
it's a
used to it.
mystery man walking in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is Officer Grum, he's our school resource officer. I call him Ben for short. He works in the office with me, as, you know, we share an office. And working with the school resource officer on a daily basis from a person in my position is really good to do, because we're constantly going over things together. It's really a nice asset. We have a great relationship with Lake Forest Police Department. All right, yeah, visitor management system, which you see down there, Raptor system we've had in place for a couple of years. I don't think people realize we go through literally like 4,000 visitors a year. It's a great system. It's voted as one of the best of 100 innovative ideas you can put in high schools today for safety and security. We've got some camera updates. We've added about, well, some of those are newer cameras that we've replaced. We've added about 5 new cameras in the last year. We have a donated security vehicle, and I know you guys like free things. Fred Marks from a dealership up in Waukegan took this Toyota in on a trade, buffed it out, put Lake Forest security on the side for us, and the yellow light did a great job, did the brakes. And it's kind of nice that we have concerts and events and all the stuff we have during the evenings. We can kind of be outside, and we've jumped dead batteries. We've helped people with lockouts. It's nice to have, and you'll see it when you pull in the morning with security. We have 2 additional security staff in the last year we've added. We've added a gentleman in the back, Roberto, who's there all day, so it helps with our attendance issues and kids that used to just be able to walk off and walk out the back without being checked. And then we have Mrs. Brown, who has a student at the school, and she works in the visitor center or the greeter center from 1:30 to 9:30 every day. So it's nice having a presence for kids that they have to have something. They don't have a phone, or they lost their phone. They have a place they can go to get a phone. Where we're going. All right. We've got some changes in the works as we speak. These are the new placards that in the last week have gone into every room in the high school. It's a new standard response protocol. Officer Grum and I have been researching this. What I like about this is that it really comes down to 4 basic actions. And when you're in a serious situation, as you saw with Florida, there was a lot of things going on at the same time. It's very chaotic. And I've always believed that if you can keep it as simple as possible, it's easier to remember what your responsibilities are. Now, this comes from a foundation called I Love You Guys from Emily Keys, who was shot and killed in Colorado. And her father has run with this to change a real bad situation into something positive. And they do all the work for us. I mean, all the placards are free. The protocol, the response protocol is really, it's, of all the ones I've seen, it's about the best. There's a lot of stuff out there. We talked about this. We have a committee in place. Everybody liked this one as well. So this is what's going on right now, and then we'll have further training on it as well. And at the bottom there is something else we're looking at. It's Blue Point Alert. It's working on designing a site-specific alert system. Unfortunately, we have areas in the building that's during a gym class, or they're down in the workout area or in the large areas. They may not hear those speakers. The climbing wall, the field house, it's very difficult to hear that. So it would be hard for teachers in those areas to hear instructions. Blue Point Alert is probably the leading company with this kind of thing. It's almost like the fire department's pull stations, except they have blue ones, and the light that flashes is blue. What's nice is that when you pull that or you see that light, it would allow teachers and people in other areas outside the building to come in it would really be a good way to be able to get full coverage as far as everybody understanding what's going on. It's not an audible, it's just a light only. And you have everywhere from panic buttons to a few pole stations, strobe lights. It's pretty unique system. I would imagine that every school moving forward being built today has probably got that technology in there. That's all I have.
Thank you.
How'd I do, John?
Did great.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, I grew up a long time ago, and we had basically tornado drills and fire drills. So what is the difference between a lockdown and a lockout?
Yeah, well, go ahead, that's fine.
A lockdown is typically something in the building. In most cases, you would call a lockdown when something is actively happening in the building. This is when kids are getting in their classrooms behind locked doors, and taking attendance and doing all that stuff. A lockout is typically something outside of the building, police activity in the neighborhood or something like that, where the kids move about their day as normal, but we don't allow people in and out of the building. So senior privilege would be pulled, people trying to pick up kids would not happen, deliveries wouldn't happen, we would not allow anybody in the building, and we would not allow kids to leave the building. But typically in those scenarios, the school day would go on as normal. So yeah, the threat being inside the school or the threat being outside the school is the main difference between the two.
You know, lockout you want to bring, and we could have 200 or 300 kids on the front lawn during the lunch hours on the first 70-degree day, and we want to be able to get them in the building. We are already locked down. I mean, we don't have any unsecured doors with the exception of one during the day, and we have somebody there. So,
Lockout is also known as a soft lockdown in some of the programs. You can use either one.
Thank you, I just was not familiar with the verbiage. And then Ben, when you were at the APT meeting, you said the most fascinating things we were talking about, the Florida shootings. You said, I'm going to ask you to quote the number again, but the kids are safest when they're in the classrooms?
In the classrooms behind locked doors, to my knowledge, and I researched most of these, and we will see what comes out of Florida. There are no official reports out of Florida in terms of like the FBI or Homeland Security doing an all-encompassing breakdown of that event. But up to that, the gentleman's daughter who designed the I Love You Guys Foundation and the Standard Response Protocol is the only K through 12 student to ever be killed behind a locked door in a school. Typically, the violence happens outside the classroom. If you're able to get kids behind that locked door, that provides enough time for the police department to get there and respond and do what we need to do. In her situation, she was taken hostage in the classroom, and there were 12 girls in that classroom, and she was the only one who perished in that event. But yes, so behind the classroom, and that's why if you look at District 67 and what we've taught there prior to now, we have taken the nationwide model of run, hide, fight, and me and my partner, who's the District 67 SRO, changed it to hide, run, fight. And that's because we wanted to put an emphasis on that getting into a classroom behind a locked door, because one, that's the safest place, and two, all of our lockdowns that we've ever called in Lake Forest have been because of police activity outside the school. So the idea of we wanted to emphasize get in the classroom, assess what's going on, and then run or fight or do those other things that we want you to do or we teach you to do, but we want to put the emphasis on the high portion of it. So that's kind of why we do that, is because we know that, again, that classroom door is going to buy enough time for us to get there and do it.
Any other questions? Scott and Ben? So Scott, we get an HR report with all kinds of interesting information in there, and this month we heard that you were retiring, announcing your retirement. So we just want to thank you for all your service and everything you've done to keep us safe over these many years, and for being a good guy.
Thank you very much. That's very
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is where I usually start to fumble and mess up. But I'm going to try and go slowly. Probably better because I can't read. So next up is our committee reports. First, Education Committee. Lise?
We have not met since the last full board meeting.
Okay, great. Finance and Ops, Dave?
We have not met. The next meeting will be April 16th at 7 a.m.
And Policy, Ted or Diana?
We do have some policy first and second readings, and just to clarify those that, when policy 5.330 or 333,
You were pressing your mouse? Yeah.
yeah,
There we go.
lights.
That's better.
Thanks. Anyway, there was a omission, and that's why we're having our first reading again, was while we updated the policy, it wasn't updated in the Google Doc that was presented, so to do it properly, we're redoing first reading tonight.
Understand. Liaison reports. Ed-Red? Sally, anything new?
Nothing to report, I know. And I think with my 3 words, I win the jet ski, right? Okay.
Shortest, yes. NSSED? Ted?
We have not met either, although I did want to just bring up one thing for our meeting for this coming Wednesday. We've had a second draft of our finance draft, and as I mentioned, we had a $5 million deficit forecast in the draft 1. That has been reduced significantly, and the big changes, we've had an FTE reduction in the draft of 59 full-time equivalents, which is quite significant. But again, most of those positions will be transitioning to the 18 district classrooms, so it's not as onerous as it sounds.
Diana, anything on APT or foundation or
Yeah. I've actually been to all 3. I do not win the jet ski award. The boosters met in February, and one of the highlights of the boosters is when they get to give money back to the teams. So the boys' baseball team and the boys' lacrosse captains came, and they present to the booster board, and it's really fun. I believe it was lacrosse that came in coat and tie, so that was, really taking it up a notch. They really wanted their $1,000. So they talk about their upcoming tournament, and then the board awards them $1,000 to help them go and become better competitive teams and bond. Drew already mentioned that winter sports are over, spring sports are starting. Last Saturday night, March 10th, was the Booster Bash, and they sold out. It was a huge success. They had 3 live auction items that sold for over $10,000. They had 60 silent auction items, food, drink, a stand-up comedian who was hilarious, Tom and I were there, and a DJ. So it was a great event. They don't have official numbers to release yet, but they think they're going to beat last year, which means there's more money to go back to the teams going forward. So that's really exciting news. The next day, I went to the foundation meeting, and they did grant presentations. And Shayla's already basically covered some of those. I think last meeting we talked about that. Anyway, there were 19 grants. They chose 16 grants for $125,000 giving back to the classrooms. So that was really exciting. Everything from new furniture for the science labs, Library Nook e-readers, TEDx camera and recording equipment, and next generation smart boards. And they have a whole set of criteria that they use in order to determine who gets money. So that was really fun to sit through. Then on March 7th, I went to the APT meeting, and they talked about, trying to figure out what you guys haven't already covered. The talent show made $15,000. That all goes back to the classrooms, or to the class treasuries. So that was really exciting, and they've got some changes coming up for next year, making it more of a variety show and not the focus on talent. Drew mentioned prom is coming up on May 12th. And if anybody would like to donate money to Project Safe Prom, they're raising money for the buses to transport the kids. And they also need chaperones. If anybody's really jonesing to go to prom, didn't really get enough of it when you were in high school. April 20th is the Alumni Wall of Fame reception and presentation. And there are 2 recipients this year, and Susie Atheson promises they are really fun, and she's really looking forward to being able to share with us who they are coming up. And then the last thing, Jim Sullivan presented his Career Connections Fair. They've got 60 different businesses coming on March 20th. all 16 career clusters that we talk about wanting to expose our kids to. And the wellness classes are the first ones that get to come in, and then other classes can fill in as space is available. And that should be really great to help expose our kids to those careers before they get to the second year of law school and decide it's not what they want. So I'm really kind of hoping that Elise Kryling is going to figure it out anyway.
Stuff. Next up are our action items. First up is approval of an Athletico Physical Therapy 3-year 2018 to 2021 contract for professional trainer services in the amount of $35,735 for year one for the 2018-2019 year. So may I have a motion to approve the Athletico Physical Therapy contract?
I move that Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the Athletico Physical Therapy 2018 through 2021 contract for professional trainer services in the amount of $35,735 for the 2018-2019 term.
Second.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Why is this a 3-year versus prior contracts?
Yeah, we've typically tried to do at least a couple of years, so we probably provide some stability going forward, and just it's attached to a CPI type of increase.
Year? I thought we always approved 1 years, but no, they were always multiple year.
Varied over the years.
Okay.
Also, too, we're getting a consistent employee too from Athletico, so it provides them some stability in their staffing as well.
Any other questions, discussion? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Mr. Markison?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Dr. Nemekis?
I will abstain.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Next up,
Carries, I'm sorry.
oh, thank you. Next up is approval of Press Issue 96. This is a second reading of an item. I have a motion to approve the second reading of Press Issue 96.
I move that the Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the second reading of Press Issue 96.
Second.
Discussion. This was in the packet last month and this month. None? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Dr. Nemekis?
Aye.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Mr. Markison?
Aye.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next up is approval of Policy 5:125 on social media and electronic communication. Second reading. May I have a motion?
I move that the Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the second reading of Policy 5:125 social media and electronic communication.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Comments? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Dr. Nemekis?
Aye.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Mr. Markison?
Aye.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next is approval of Policy 5:330 on sick days, vacation, and holidays. The item that Mr. Mormon mentioned, we had the wrong copy in last month's packet, so this is a repeat of the first reading. May I have a motion, please? Thanks.
I move that the Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the first reading of Policy 5:330, sick days, vacation, holidays, and leaves.
Second.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Nope. Roll call vote, please.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Ms. Davis? Mr. Markison?
Aye.
Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Dr. Nemekis?
Aye.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next is our human resources report. May I have a motion to approve the human resources report as presented?
I move Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the Human Resources Report as presented.
Yep.
Second.
Any comments, questions about anything on there? Nothing? May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Dr. Nemekis?
Aye.
Mr. Markuson?
Aye.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next up is the consent agenda. I'm going to ask Dave to read it because I'll start coughing. It's a lot of words, sir.
I will be happy to. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items, including approval of disbursements, payrolls, and financial statements for January 2018, approval of renewal of Illinois High School Association membership, confirmation of student athletic participation eligibility, minutes of a regular meeting and workshop, February 12th, 2018, minutes of an executive session, February 12th, 2018, minutes of a joint board workshop, March 6th, 2018, disposal of audio recordings, March 7th, 2016.
I move that the Lake Forest Community High School District 115 Board of Education approve the consent agenda items as presented.
May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Markuson? Dr. Elliott?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Mormon?
Aye.
Dr. Nemekis?
Aye.
Mr. Lane?
Aye.
Mrs. Kryling?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We had one FOIA request this month from Kaylin Rhodes, a commercial request, and that has been completed. A few announcements. Tuesday, March 13th is our band orchestra concert at 7:30 in RMA. March 15th is our TEDx event at 10:25 till 12:50, 10:25 a.m. to 10 to 1 in DMT. What's DMT? David Miller Theater, the small, okay. March 15th is our choral concert in the RMA. March 19th is our wind ensemble orchestra concert at 7:30. Both of those are at 7:30 in the RMA. Spring break, always amazed at how quick spring break comes. You know, these board meetings, when you measure a school year in terms of board meetings, it goes by really fast. Spring break is March 26th, and school starts up again on April 3rd. Our next meeting is Monday, April 9th at 7 p.m. right here in this same room. So may I have a motion to adjourn the Lake Forest Community High School Board meeting?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.